In this video, we'll learn how we can use Notepad++ as an interactive Python environment, just like Jupyter Notebook. Here are quick examples and demos that we are going to do in this video. Here I have just a simple Python script that uses data frame, and I'm going to run this script right from Notepad++ like Jupyter Notebook. Here is the output, so Shift Enter gives me this data frame. Here is another example where I'm using a matplotlib library to create an image. I'm going to select and Shift Enter, and you can see that it is able to create this plot. So let's get started. Hey guys, this is Amit. I make videos about Notepad++ and programming in general. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. So today, as we learn about the interactive Python environment in Notepad++, I'm going to do the presentation in a little different way. Usually I have a PowerPoint or some other way, but I'm using some more interactive way to describe this feature. So let's go with the introduction. Now, if you're familiar with Jupyter Notebook, then you already know the interactive Python environment, but we are going to do the same thing in Notepad++. This is a new plugin that I found, and I found it to be really interesting and useful, especially since I like to work with Notepad++. Now, Jupyter Notebook is tried and true tool, and a lot of people use it, so this is not a replacement by any means, but this is for somebody who likes to work in Notepad++ with all its shortcuts and all the features, and you want to maintain those. And so that is why we are going to try this PyPadPlusPlus today. Now, when we install this, you will see an output frame, which would be just like a console window in Jupyter Notebook, and where the output will appear. All right, so that's the introduction about PyPadPlusPlus. Let's go to the installation part. Now, as I mentioned, this is a plugin which is actually based on Python script plugin, and usually plugin installation goes through admin and so on, but this one is a little bit different. So there are two ways in which you can install PyPadPlusPlus. One is an easy way, and the other is the hard way. So of course we like easy way. So the easy way is basically we need to install this plugin, and there are a number of settings in that, and to do it manually is kind of difficult, and so the developer of this plugin have already provided a standalone Notepad++ package which has all the settings ready to run. And so that is what we are going to use today. We are going to download Notepad++ package which has a PyPadPlusPlus already set and ready to run. Now, this could be an issue if you already have a Notepad++ and you would like to use your own settings and so on. But it could also be a blessing in disguise, because this would be your totally dedicated Python environment, Notepad++. If you want to pass it on to your colleague, you don't need to explain him how to set it up. You just pass on that whole package. All right. The hard way is, you just manually install it. And the developer has provided the description and steps, and if you really want to do that, you can go through that. For this demonstration, I'm going to use an easy way, and so let's try that. Let's go to Google, and we are going to just search PyPadPlusPlus. All right, and usually there is a GitHub repository for PyPadPlusPlus, so I'm going to click on that. And you can read through some of the description. It's pretty neat. It actually gives a lot more information about what we are going to learn today. But if you would like the Notepad++ installation with all its settings, they have provided a zip file that contains all the things that are needed. And so I'm going to click on the download, and it's just a zip file. It is like a portable Notepad++. And so let's go ahead and extract it, and it shouldn't take too long. All right, so installation does take a little bit of time to extract all the files, and so I have actually done that, and I have put the file on desktop. You can put it at anywhere, but if you look at this zip file extraction, it's basically a Notepad++ installation with some PyPadPlusPlus files. And so in order to just open Notepad++, you just simply open Notepad++.exe here. So let's do that. Alright, so this is a Notepad++ with PyPadPlusPlus. It's kind of a mouthful. All the settings ready and to run. So let's just try that actually. So I'm going to just say a equals to 1. And just like Jupyter Notebook, if you want to run a particular line, you just press Shift and Enter. And you saw that it just actually ran that. And if I do this, you can see a equals to 1, right? And so we will do more examples, but let's go back to our presentation. So we just learned there are different ways to install it. One is an easy way, one is the hard way. We just did the easy way, where we downloaded the zip file and extracted, and it's ready to run our Python script. All right. So how to execute? Now, as I already mentioned, in order to execute a line or a set of lines, you just press Shift Enter. Now, if you don't like a keyboard shortcut, you can also do a middle mouse button. So let's go back, and I'm going to just say, let's say B2. And if I select these two, oops, and then press middle mouse key, sometimes it's hard to do it, but you can see it did ran that particular line, and you can see the output equals to 2 here. So it's up to your choice. Shift Enter is by far the most easiest way. Now if you want to just run the entire script, you just select the entire file with Control A and then do Shift Enter, and it will do that. I'm going to clear this this console and Shift Enter, and you can see it is compiling and sorry, not compiling, but running the script. All right. Okay. So let's take an example. So I'm going to open a file that I have. And I'm just going to start with a very basic Python script. So it's going to import system, and it's going to tell me what version of Python script Python is running. You can see it is 3.9. Now you might wonder where this Python installation is located. So when we use this standalone Notepad++ with PyPadPlusPlus, it actually comes with its own Python distribution inside that. And so 3.9.4 is the one that is actually inside right here, where probably somewhere in here there is this Python distribution, right? Now in little while we will also learn how you can actually use your own Python distribution, which is typical case. But let's run some basic Python example or script. So just a hello world, Shift Enter, and you can see it did printed on a console. Here is just a simple example of finding a square root. So Shift Enter, and then you can see the square root of 16, which is right here, is 4. You can also see the tuples. So here is the output of tuples. If you have list, you can see as I'm pressing Shift Enter onwards, it goes to the next line and it executes that line. So you can see that the Python is working pretty well. Now if I want to, let's say, import pandas as PD. Now these, let's try again, and it complains that there is no module, pandas module available, and the reason is the basic Python package inside this Notepad++ does not have that. And so actually it's better to use our own Python distribution, and if you guys have been working with Python, you probably already have that. And so we'll learn how we can configure this Notepad++ to use your own Python distribution. Okay, so you can use your own, and for this demonstration I'm going to use Anaconda 3 that I have on my computer. And so we will need to make some changes to or just configure a few things. All right, So let's open this PyPad start.py file, and this. Okay, so this PyPad start.py file is inside this folder. So you need to go to let me just quickly check plugins, configure or config, Python script under script, and right here Python or PyPad start. So let's open that. All right, so this is the file that starts at the startup, as it says, and so we need to actually add a Python path for our own distribution. So for me, I know that I have an Anaconda which is located in C. Actually, I'm just in program data and Anaconda. Actually, if you read this description, it actually usually tells you, but you need to make sure that you pick the right path. And so the first settings that we need to do is we need to specify our Anaconda or whatever distribution of Python you have, that path to python w.exe. Okay, so for me it is actually in C, program data, Anaconda 3, python w.exe. This is the location that I have my Anaconda. Usually this should be the case, but again, each one has a different kind of setting. So make sure that you check this, you find this out where your Anaconda is located, and or your Python distribution, and make sure this path is correct. Okay, so let's save this. Now a few more things that we also have to add is if you have some more libraries in Python like matplotlib or pandas or others, you also need to specify that path into PyPad start.py. And I tried it without it and it was not able to find, so we need to set that up also. So right here, line number 17, I'm going to uncomment this. Oops. And then I need to add that path also. For me, it is C program data, same location, and then library and bin. Okay, actually let me go to that location so you can see. So it will be C program data Anaconda, and if you remember, this was the location of python w.exe, and I also a link to this path where all my Python libraries are located. All right, so here are two settings. That's all. Actually, there are only two settings required. One is for the Python path, and then the second one is for any additional library that you need to specify. For the most part, if you use Anaconda, this two should be enough. So let me save this and make sure that you restart your Notepad++. And so do you want to save? No. Okay, and no. All right, so let's go back to our desktop and let's open Notepad++.exe. Now this one should have our own Python distribution. Okay, and so how do you check? Okay, so let's go back. By the way, quick shameless plug, if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I post new videos almost every other week about Notepad++, about programming in general, and so make sure that you subscribe to my channel and just check out all the playlists and videos that I have created. Alright, so let's take a few more examples. And so let me open all these four Python script, and let's try to run this. And it's complaining this one is missing. Okay, so let me open that PyPad start.py again. I think I know what the issue is. It's right here. Oops, not this one. Open. Let's go to desktop. Sorry about this little mistake. Okay, so the mistake that I've done is I set up the Python path fine. I set up the libraries also, but I needed to enable this import OS, which was commented out. So let's save this, close, and let's open that again. And I think it should work this time. Right, so let's go ahead and open our example codes. By the way, if you guys are interested in these scripts, please comment in the comment section and I can make this available to you. These are nothing fancy. It's just a few script that I found online and some of my own. So again, just if you're interested, please let me know and I can definitely make it available. But let's try this. So as you can see, it will start using our Anaconda version. Now, one way to know is, if you remember, the version that it came up with was 3.9, but I have 3.8.5, and so that's how I know actually that this is not using its own but my own Python distribution. So let's continue, and as you can see, these should work without that as well, but let's go to this example with pandas library. So I'm using some data frame, and let's try that. So this is the pandas version 1.1.3, and then I'm creating this panda data frame, and then these are the columns, these are the locations. If I want to add a column, I can do so, and then finally I'm printing this this cafe data frame. These are the two columns that I just added. You can see the first one was the name, the second is the zip code, point of contact here, and then the rating. So I can build this up and then give a different rating to different restaurant. That is the example here, by the way, just a name of the fast food restaurant, and the zip code and the point of contact, and you can build ratings and price and so on. All right, so this is about the pandas. Now let me go and see if I can use a matplotlib to create a plot. And so I know that I already have that library in my Python distribution, and so it is able to import those without any error. So that is a good sign. And then finally, you can see that this is the image with the this plot for the data that I had. So that's really cool. Let's try one more example. Here I have a similar sort of settings, so I'm going to see if this would work also. So this time, instead of just executing one line at a time, let's just select the entire block of code with Control A, and then we'll press Shift and Enter, and you can see it is able to actually create this plot, which is actually interactive, as all matplotlibs are. All right, so we can see that we can use our own distribution. Now you can use any library that you have in your distribution with this. So let's take a few more features, and so one more is code snippet log. Now this is an interesting feature. It's just when you have a snippet of code or commands that you use frequently, you can save those into its own environment, into this Python environment. Now often we store these kind of things in some nodes in somewhere, and if you're honest, you'll never find that again whenever you need that. And so by using this code snippet log right from this Notepad++, it actually helps you to quickly retrieve it easily. And so the shortcut for that is Alt key plus S. So let's try that. So let's say I'm interested in this plot creation. I can do Alt and S, and it says, yep, it logged all these. Now if I don't select anything and if I press Alt S, it actually opens that file, right? So I already have some other captured before, but the cool thing about this is it actually adds the time and date and then this code block, right? So let's go back to pandas, and let's say I like to use this frequently, maybe this one, then I can do Alt S, and if I go and just check this out, you can see it will refresh with that. Okay, so which I can keep this open, and then I can copy and paste back and forth in my script. All right, so that's a pretty neat feature. And then some other additional feature, there might be a time where something goes wrong, and the Python environment is stuck in some infinite loop. And so in order to come out of that loop and restart the kernel, you can press Alt R. So let's try Alt R, and it should say right here, Python kernel restarted. So there might be a time where you may want to do that. Control Shift C clears the console. So if it's just too much of information here, or errors and stuff, you want to clear it out, you can press Control Shift C, and that will clear out the console. All right. So let's take a look at some pros and cons for using this PyPadPlusPlus and Notepad++. Now, as you saw, it is pretty fast and lightweight. Notepad++ itself is pretty lightweight, and so you can really build upon that. And I think by far the biggest advantage or pro for this particular plugin in Notepad++ is, if you're familiar with Notepad++, all its features, shortcuts, all of those are available right from Notepad++ with Python in there. And so you can really quickly, code your Python script because you are just familiar with those things. Now, as I said earlier in the video, Jupyter Notebook is an awesome tool, and this is by far no replacement, but it can be really handy when you want to quickly, just make some changes to your scripts or create some Python script and so on and test it out. The cons, there are definitely some cons. One is it does have a bit of learning curve, just getting used to it. And as I have not tested with every kind of libraries out there, so it may not be fully compatible, and so that's where the learning curve comes into picture. You may have to tinker with some of the settings in order for it to work. The good part is, once you set it up, you can actually keep that in that folder because everything is in that self-contained folder. So yeah, the good part is you can keep all your settings in that folder, but it does have some limitations. And the Jupyter Notebook also, you can also build the documentation along with the code, which this doesn't provide. And so all in all, it's a great sort of an alternative to Jupyter Notebook and just an interactive Python environment in Notepad++. So make sure you try it out and let me know your experience, or if you have some issues, please feel free to comment in the comment section, and I'll try to help and answer as much as possible. I've also found that the developer who built this is very responsive, so you can also go to their GitHub page, and just if you find some issues, you can start a ticket and he will respond to that as well. And so I hope you like this. This is a little bit different from the usual videos that I make, but I found to be a really interesting tool. And so please make sure, if you like this video, just click a like button, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click on that bell icon so that you get notified when I post new videos. All right, thank you very much. Bye bye.